We are here with Minot State head football coach Mike Aldrich, ready to kick off the season Saturday at home against Winona State. Coach, thanks for joining us.
Yeah, no problem.
Talk about the upcoming season. How excited are you guys to kick off day one?
Well, I mean, it's always that first game is a long time coming. You know, we last played a game in November and got to wait till August to get there, and there's a lot of practice and football in between, but it's never the same as actually competing against somebody else. So I think there's a lot of anticipation, a lot of excitement to kick off the season and get going and kind of put a lot of the different things the different adversity that we had to go through, whether it was during spring or during last season, and then just to really just embrace the newness of 2022.
You talk about earlier this training camp about the number of returners back and how that's sped up the learning process. How nice is it to have a team that's experienced and still youthful?
Yeah, I think that's probably the biggest trait, and what I'm the most excited about for this season is just the maturity of our team. As I say, we're finally an older team where a lot of our guys that are going out on the field are going out on the field for their second season or third season of actual playing time. So there aren't a lot of those first-time experiences that have to happen through the course of the season for those guys to gain that experience. So now that we're a little bit older, I think we'll be in a much better position to handle the ebb and flow of the season, not get too high on the ups and not to get too low on the downs, and going into this being my 6th year here, in terms of getting the culture changed. I'm not policing the culture anymore. Now it's the veterans are doing that. That's what they know, and so they're able to handle a lot of those things, which is what you want to have happen. And we finally can see that occurring, and that's, I think, is really the benefit or the outcome of us being an older football team.
Talk about how this team will perform. Obviously, a guy that stands out is Ali Muhammad. He's couple hundred, I think about 350 yards away from breaking the all-time rushing record at Minot State. Obviously, he's a guy that's going to get the ball a lot. Are you guys going to thrive on him this year again?
Yeah, I mean, we make no bones about it that we'll go as Ali goes. He's a special football player, and he's proved that in his first 2 seasons of playing for us. Got a bunch of great accolades last year, and you know the great thing with Ali is that he's hungry. You know, there's more that he wants to do. He wants to contribute more. There's more benchmarks that he's trying to hit, and to be able to see him have that drive and that desire and not being comfortable of just being at the level that he's gotten himself to, I think is what drives the rest of our team is when you have 100 other guys looking at him, knowing that he is good and that he does work hard for everything that he's done, then that pushes them. You know, it's the standard that he sets, and our team lives up to that. And I think that everything that will happen for him over the course of this year and even next year is just going to kind of be gravy. I mean, I think there's as I touched on, there's things he wants to do better than what he's done before. He's healthy, he's fresh, looks really good, not just physically, but just how he's been running the ball and how he's seen things. And that's kind of what you want now out of your third year back is having all that experience of having seen it before, and now he's seen it well before it happens and setting things up. And a good running back makes your offensive line better, and a good running back makes your passing game better, and all those type of things.
You mentioned the passing game. You get Dawson McClary back there. He went through the tough freshman season last year where he learned, and you could see as the season went on, he definitely was growing, learning, and improving. How nice is it to have, 1, the weapon of Ali running the ball, and then 2, the seasoned quarterback back there?
Yeah, I mean, I think the thing with Dawson is, you know, kind of getting thrown into the fire due to injury to Ben. You know, it took him a while to get comfortable, and then when he did, he showed that he can be pretty special back there. And then once he was comfortable, you know, with him emerging. It also emerged our receiving core. Peyton Lamore had a phenomenal season and showed he can take the top off the defense and can go up and get the ball. And Nathan Young showed that he can be a big-time possession receiver, but he can also do some pretty special things when he gets the ball. Our tight ends, Jackson Lundin, although he graduated, he had over 30 catches as a tight end. So now you're with the emergence of Dawson and being comfortable and all those things, everything else, kind of the dominoes fall along with it. And I think the biggest trait for Dawson for this year is just that he's now had the off season of being the number one quarterback. So he's not thrown into it and trying to pick up and add himself to the huddle that was originally somebody else's. Now it's his huddle. Those guys are used to his voice. And just all of the maturity that goes along with it. And you got a guy that's going to be a doctor someday, and being as smart as he is and seeing things now, he has seen them, in game action, and we're not preparing him for his first college start this first game. We're preparing him for college start number 7 or whatever it is, and he's a seasoned vet now.
Let's go to the defensive side. How do you guys look over there? I know a new defensive coordinator comes in. What will the team look like on that side of the ball?
Yeah, I think the defense in general, the athletes on the team really have embraced Coach Premchinski and his defensive style, both personality-wise and scheme-wise. I think they really like the constrictions that are on each of them. They don't have to do somebody else's job too much. They just got to do their own job and be really good at it. We've had all spring and summer and fall camp to really get comfortable in that new style of defense and what he's been teaching them. And as we've gotten towards the close of fall camp, you could really see our guys starting to be freer in how they play. They're not thinking things through as much anymore. Now they can just react. They know what they're supposed to do. It's the imprint on their DNA now has happened. So I think that's been really good. And to return most of our defensive starters helps, because then you not only have the maturity and experience on the field, but then you also have the smartness of understanding, okay, this is a new style of defense. How do we pick it up, and how do we get good with it, and then make big plays with it as well.
Talked about some key guys on the offensive side. Who are some key guys defensively that can be impact guys?
Well, I think the probably number one would be Nyla Miller Levi. He was somebody that was pretty impactful for us last year, and really at the end of the year started to really make a name for himself with some plays that he was making all over the place. And there's a lot of different things that we try to do with him to let him make an impact on the game. He's a 6'1" corner that can run, that's got phenomenally soft hands. He's been very good with really being a perfectionist with his ability and his trade and his craft, I guess you would call it. Had the same conversation I had with Ali with Nyla of, okay, you're at that point where you're becoming an elite player. Now you got to understand what you need to do without somebody telling you to do it to be able to elevate your game. So expecting big things out of Nylan, obviously, but he's a corner. So there's times where teams are going to be able just to, we'll just go away from him. And he's got to be able to be strong enough mentally to understand that and know that maybe he's not going to get as many opportunities to make a big impact on the game, but when they do come, he has to embrace it and really take advantage of it. Probably the next one would be Isaiah Bigby. 2019 led us in tackles on our defense as a true freshman. We lost him early in the season with an injury, and so now he's back and looks comfortable. We've actually moved him to an outside linebacker position where he was a safety previously. Very smart, very heady player. I think he's going to give us an opportunity to make an impact with our defense at all levels now, whereas as a safety it was more just that back end stuff. So we're really excited to see. He hasn't played for a long time because of his injury, so I know he's really excited for the game and very mature beyond his years, and 100% the product of a dad who's a coach. And you can always see those guys that have had coaching as a father. Carson Psycho is also a player that's a prototype linebacker at the Division II level. He's big, he's physical, he's fast, he's strong. I think we probably underutilized him a little bit last year, and so he's really found a home here in what we're doing defensively now, and I think that's going to allow him to really emerge and make a name for himself and be much more visible to those just watching the game with some of the havoc that he can create, both whether he's in coverage, whether he's stopping the run, whether he's pressuring the quarterback, whatever it might be. I think he's going to be somebody that will kind of do like what Dawson did last year and kind of have his emergence, and I'm excited for that. D-line's probably where we're the most experienced. We've got 3 seniors at our defensive end positions. Logan Kruger really finished the year strong last year, led our team in sacks. He's big. He looks much fresher this year. Kind of knows that he's got a lot of responsibility now. He's played a lot of games since he was a freshman, but he doesn't have the other bookend that he's played with the whole time, and Jordan will. So we've got other guys that he's also playing along with that are becoming his partners, and that Jordan kind of served his first 3 years as that guy for him. But big expectations out of Logan as that big defensive end. Caleb Ness and Pat Hardy are also 2 other seniors that have played a ton of football for us, which give us just that experience on that defensive line from the edges. And then you look at our interior, all those guys return as well, whether it's DJ Schneibel as a big nose guard, Emmett Espino, we got Tino, Vito as one of our other guys on the inside that have all played a ton. Lafi Bade, who's played a ton as well. So we're really deep and big, and I think that's good because we don't want those guys playing every play. We want them to be able to be fresh, and can we roll 2 groups through that line and not take a step backwards or take a step down in ability, size, experience, all those things. So we're really looking forward to seeing that actually happen on the field, and seeing that depth come to fruition.
Let's talk a little bit about the upcoming game in Winona State. What do you know about them? What do you expect from them? And what do you do to beat them?
Yeah, game one's always it's a little bit of a crapshoot because you don't have film on them from this current season, and they've made a coaching change, so you don't really have any film whatsoever of this same team. So there's things we're trying to pick up based off of where their coaches have been to see if we can kind of get some idea of what we're going to see, so that we're as best prepared as possible. But the beauty of game one is you really have to look at game one as being all about yourself, and not really the opponent. How mature can we be? How ready can we be? How prepared? All those type of things, and then be as prepared for the unexpected as best as possible. Control what we can control, and then just be prepared for the uncontrollables, and then how do we respond to them. But I know, Brian Bergstrom's their new head coach. I have a ton of respect for Brian. He's both of us are actually from the same high school in Minnesota. So I'm kind of excited to be his first game of his career as a head coach, being that we're both came from the same black and gold bloodline of Burnsville, Minnesota. So I think that'll be kind of fun for both of us. And knowing Bergie, the guys are going to be coached up well. They're going to be prepared. So yeah, it's going to be a great first test right out the chute.
Appreciate it, Coach. We want to remind you fans, kickoff this Saturday, the home and season opener, 1 o'clock here at First Western Bank Field at Herb Parker Stadium. So come on out, cheer on your Beavers, and root them on to victory. Thanks again, Coach.
Yep, thank you.